So the question is, what in the world were we thinking when we came up with our top 10 list?
So let's break down our whiskey of the year for 2023.
Welcome back to another edition of Bourbon Kingdom. I'm David.
And I'm Zach.
And today we are going to kind of discuss what went into our whiskey of the year.
Yeah, so we've had some comments and everything else, and we kind of want to break down a little bit more detail of what we did, our thoughts.
Yeah, how we came up with what we came up with, which is always good. But since we are discussing our whiskey of the year, why not bring the whiskey of the year out and have a little pour of this?
Plus, it's always a great opportunity to drink Dave's bourbon.
It is. It is, always. And this is the A bottle. Like, this is the A batch. And this might not come back out again this year for until something big happens.
That's true.
Today's episode is brought to you by ZBiotics.
Guys, I'm telling y'all right now, do you know I'm over the halfway mark to 40?
Listen.
It's freaking me out.
I don't want to talk about it because
he's already old.
I mean, I'm already over.
But I'm getting older. And with that, as much as we love to have a few pours every night, with getting older, makes longer mornings and everything, until our good friends over at ZBiotics.
Yeah. ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle your rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's that byproduct, not dehydration like most people think, that's to blame for your rough next day. ZBiotics produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down, and it's designed to work like your liver, but in your gut where you need it the most. So just remember to drink ZBiotics before a night of drinking, and you'll have a better tomorrow.
So it's my birthday month.
Yeah, it is your birthday month.
So my wife and I, we went out. We had a really great dinner. We did some really special stuff with bourbon. And I told my wife before we went out, I said, we got to get and try you have to try some ZBiotics. And she was even telling me, she's like, this stuff is great. Why don't we do this every single time we're like going to go out either to a wedding or whatever else? I'm like, well, all right, dude.
Yeah, so we do now. We do that.
Yeah.
All the time. So here's the deal too. It is the new year, and if you're like me, I don't know if Zach's like me. He's probably not. But if you're like me, January is always that time to try to get back on the health train and make yourself as healthy as possible for as many months as possible before you lose it again, whenever you lose it. But I'm trying to make it a little bit more sustainable in my health goals and stuff like that. Taking ZBiotics before a night of drinking, it really, really helps on the next day because I'm not sluggish. I'm not trying to just get out of working out or anything like that. I am just kind of in it, and it doesn't bother me. So if you're like me and you're trying to stay on your goals, this might be a good option for you. Yeah,
so go to zbiotics.com/Bourbon Kingdom or scan the QR code in somewhere
right here.
Yeah. And use our code Bourbon Kingdom to get 15% off your first order from ZBiotics. And just want to say thank you to ZBiotics. They are a great channel sponsor, and they make and produce amazing things, and we're so grateful for it. All right, so the meat and potatoes of everything, which is our top 10. So we're going to kind of talk about Dave and mine, because how we did this separately. We weren't even in the same room whenever we did this. So whenever we did our 11 through 20, we did it together.
Yeah.
And we figured all that out together.
Yeah.
The 10 through 1, we did it totally separately. We took our list together, merged them together.
Yep.
And went from there. So really quick, talking about my last place on here was the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch C. And then your last place was Disco 11.
Yep.
So not too crazy. Kind of seen that coming a little bit.
Yes.
This is where it starts getting crazy. So my next one is Disco 11.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put William Heaven Hill 17 year on there.
I did.
Which is a little crazy. if I'm being honest with you. I thought that was low for you.
I of all of them on the list, I thought that one would be higher.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't. I don't know what to say about it. It just wasn't. It does not hit the same as what the 15-year hit. Now it's really good because it made our top 10, but it did not hit the same as the 15-year. Matter of fact, I had a pour of the 15-year last night, and gosh, it's still so good.
I think
it's like
is better.
It's like this. Like it's just so good, and makes you just want to nurse the bottle.
That's fair. Now this is where Dave's going to say I'm crazy. So my 8th place was 13th Colony Double Oak, and his 8th place was Four Roses Ellie.
Yeah.
And what is wild to me is basically Dave and I switch those 2 bottles between our 2nd place and our 3rd place, respectively.
Yeah.
So we were night and day on both those 2.
Yeah.
I'll say for me, 13th Colony, really good. I know there's controversy around it. We'll talk about it in another video another day. It's still
for the liquid itself. Like there's no controversy. It's really good.
Yeah, I don't care what's added or what's not added to it. It's still really good.
It's really good.
What I did find interesting though, blinding it, whenever it got put in with something that had spice to it for me. So, because there's really not any spice to it.
No.
It is really good proof.
Yeah.
But anything that would, if it followed or was before anything with spice, it just kind of stuck out to me. And I didn't enjoy it as much as what I would with something that just didn't have that same kind of spice to it.
I get that. I do get that because it is like it's everything that I like in a bourbon. Honestly, like,
yeah.
I mean, it just really is. It's everything I like in a bourbon.
So for me, I just felt like, as great as what it is, and I didn't honestly know this until I really went through a blind with it, and I was trying some different stuff. I didn't realize that would kind of happen because honestly I thought it would be like top 5 for me. All right, so on to our number 7. So your number 7 was Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch C. Mm-hmm. My number 7 was Russell's Reserve Single Rick House, which is going to be a funny story for years down the road.
Yeah.
Again, great pour.
Yeah.
Whenever I was looking at it, it's for me, for the Russell's Single Rick House, it's obviously a great pour. It just started running the monsters. And I kind of feel like for me, once I got past like 8, 9, and 10, I got into the second kind of grouping where for about the next 4 bottles for me, they're all kind of interchangeable.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends on the day, honestly, I think. And then you with Elijah Craig Barrel Proof.
The Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs are like one of my first loves, and the C batch is always the one that I like the most, and this C batch is just special, and you can see it. Like I see people trading like crazy stuff for it.
Yeah.
I mean, which is nuts. Like they're crazy. It's an $85 bottle of bourbon. Now, granted, it's really, really good, but man, people are wanting to get their hands on it, and it just kind of tells you how special kind of it is. There hasn't been a really special Elijah Craig Barrel Proof in a while. And as much as I like C920, like this is better than C920.
I agree.
By far. And you can kind of see on the secondary market, if you are at all looking for bourbon in the places that you look for bourbon that aren't at retail stores, you'll see that people are asking a lot for it and requesting trades for things that I just was surprised that they would be trying to trade for.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really popular bottle and everybody wants it. And I know there's been some controversy with the whole, code thing with the bottles and everything else. I think the bigger controversy is why is there not more of it out right now. Yeah, but that's a different story for another day.
That's a whole nother story.
The next one, so that was our 7th place. Our 6th place, yours was Generations, and mine was Maker's Mark Cellar's Age.
Yeah, the Generations, as I started to try it for other things, because we just did the Wild Turkey Blind, and it finished second for me in the Wild Turkey Blind behind the Rick House, which is funny because it finished first for you in that blind. And
I had it higher.
Yeah.
So,
and again, like I like
it shows our palate difference.
I like it a lot. There's none of these. I mean, we're
There,
we're hacking
there's
over
no
the worst
wrong.
of the
There's
best.
no wrong answers unless Dave and I want to debate the whole 13th Colony Four Roses thing, which we'll get to that.
Yeah, at some point, yeah. So, like, I enjoy that. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But the things above it are just above it because to me, they're just better.
Cellar's Age was awesome. Actually, at one point in time, I didn't think Cellar's Age was going blind as well for me. And comparing it and sipping it against some other ones, it actually did a lot better. So I don't know if it's opened up a little bit. I've loved it all year, but whenever I did some early blinds in like September, it was not blinding as well for me. So I was like, it'll probably dip out top 10 or whatever, or close to like 10th, 9th, whatever. And it just started doing better. So, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Number 5 for me, William Heaven Hill 17 year, and number 5 for you, King of Kentucky 16 year.
Yeah. The barrel that we got to taste, and I think I've tasted 2 different barrels. I enjoy it. It's really, really good. It's just like I like last year's better from King of Kentucky, and so like comparing that to the things on the list that I really, really enjoyed, it just kind of it hit 5. It's rightful places in the top 5. Now, we can haggle over where it is because Zach will have it as 1, and it's just the nature of what it is because it hits his palate. Like Brown Foreman is his go-to palate, and so there's no surprise that that's number 1 for him. And we'll talk about it as we get closer to it.
And then number 5 with William Heaven Hill 17 year. Again, I said this during our review. I thought whenever we reviewed that, or whenever I first had the William Heaven Hill 17 year, I was like, man, this is good. I don't know if Dave's going to like it. So, because I had one that wasn't open at the time. I was like, if he doesn't like it, I'll let him have it.
Yeah.
But it really got a lot better with airtime, and it's progressively getting better.
Yeah, it's good. I just had a pour of it again the other day.
And so I was surprised because, like I said, when I first had it, I was kind of like, man, this ain't going to be top 10 for sure. And it's just gotten better and better and better with more airtime with it. The next one for you, for number 4, was Maker's Mark Cellar's Age. Number 4 for me was Generations. Dave kind of said it earlier. Generations finished first for me in the blind. It did really well in this year's end of the year as well. It's an older age wild turkey product. Yeah, we can talk about the price of it and how much it sucks. But at the end of the day, it's still amazing whiskey. Like,
it is, yeah.
We don't factor in pricing whenever it comes to our end of the year stuff.
No.
And, you might like that, you might not, but we just want to judge what's in the bottle.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, Generations, as costly as what it is amazing stuff. And I'm very happy I have one. I'm very happy I have backups of it.
I'm happy he has one, so that when I want a pour of it, I'll just get a pour of it.
He will be drinking all night.
Yeah.
But overall, they did a great job with it.
Yeah.
So even with all the controversy that Wild Turkey has had with the pricing this year, overall, amazing bottle.
The same thing with the Cellar's Age. Like, I mean, who would have thought at any point in time that we would have a Maker's Mark in the top 10 because of what their goal is. Like, their goal has always been just to mass produce good whiskey, not great whiskey. I think in their minds, they think they have great whiskey. No, I agree.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, but they're not. They've not ever really been in the highly allocated, highly like aged stuff, and so like this is just something new for them this past year, and kudos to them. Is like it's just one of those things where you're like, when a big boy distillery decides that they want to do something, they have a tendency to be able to do it well.
Sure.
And Maker's Mark decided, we're going to do at least 12 year
blend of 12 and 11.
Yeah. At least 12 year blend of 11 and 12, and we're going to make it really good. And they were able to do that. So
agreed.
Hats off to them. It's just really good.
So, and I know I said this before, but I don't know if you say anything. So, that kind of was there cutoffs for you in our top 10? Because to me there was. I feel like my top 3 is separate from my 4 through.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I guess I want to say 6, 7, something like that.
I would agree with that.
So, our top 3, yours was 13th Colony.
Yep.
Mine was Michter's tenure.
All right. So we're not very far off from the Michter's 10. We both agreed that it was.
Yes. And I'll be honest with you, I went back and forth between Michter's 10 being 2 or 3. Like it like honestly, I just picked between this and the number 2 spot, and it could have went either or.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
And then 13th Colony.
Yeah. So I've loved that since we tasted it. Since we got it, like I said it back then. I think I said it in the review that this is going to be in the top 10, and this is going to be chasing for bottle of the year for me for sure, and it did.
Yeah. So your number 2 was Michter's 10-year.
Is M10? Yeah.
My number 2 was Four Roses Ellie. It's crazy to me how just different we were on those 2 bottles between the Four Roses and 13th Colony. To me, I'm pretty confident for at least me and my palate in saying this is the best Four Roses Ellie I've ever had. I haven't had them all. I've had a lot of the really, really good ones.
I feel like the 2019 one I really liked a lot.
That's a great one.
Yeah. I feel like that's the one that I
great.
really liked, and this one was under that for me for whatever reason.
And that's more than fair.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was 16 too. That's really good. That I can't remember. I have it somewhere in my notes. But to me, that Four Roses is incredible. I think it's kind of honestly slept on for this year.
It probably
I think
is.
in a weird way, not a lot of people on WhiskeyTube or Instagram or TikTok got a lot of this.
Yeah.
Got a lot of Four Roses Ellie, so it kind of got slept on. But whenever I've taken that to bottle shares, everybody's like, "Holy crap, this is amazing!" I'm like,
it's really good. There's definitely nothing wrong. There's definitely nothing wrong with it. In a year where I feel like the Four Roses barrel strengths have been good, but they didn't do anything really crazy with them.
Yeah.
No
special releases like how last year.
Yeah, like 2022, they had like 3 really special releases in the barrel strengths, and this year they just kind of let the barrel strengths be the barrel strengths. This definitely stands out amongst all of that, and if you were wanting something from Four Roses, it would be the LE.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And then
oh yeah, M10. It is what it is, man. It's just it's been the best bottle this year to me. Overall, it's the second best bottle, but I think from a numbers standpoint, between the two of us, there's a reason.
There's a reason for that, but it averaged out to be number 1.
The reason why it stands up, even as a what is this, 90 proof, 94,
94.2,
94.2 proof.
I think.
Whatever it is, it's below 100 proof.
94.4. I'm sorry.
It is it's just fantastic.
That's the other thing too. This is the lowest proof
for sure.
on the top 10 list. One of the lowest proof one, maybe the lowest in our on everything.
Yeah,
and it punches up so freaking well.
The palate is just great in every aspect.
Yeah.
And so and
it has a great finish for 94 for 94 proof.
Yeah,
it's
really
wild.
does. Yeah.
And then our number ones, yours was Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse, and then mine was King Kentucky.
And I've loved he's loved the King. He always loves King Kentucky. It'll probably be his number 1 on his list every year. I'll just have to knock it down every once in a while, as
like we did this year.
Yeah, what I did this year. But the Russell's Reserve Single Rickhouse, last year's was good. This year's just made last year's taste not near as good. And for me, when I tasted Generations, I thought Generations was better than the Rickhouse, but then we did the Wild Turkey Blind, and no, the Rickhouse still just stays above it. And so for me, it was my favorite whiskey this year, hands down. It was my favorite whiskey this year.
And to give my boy credit, you really did talk about how much you love that bottle all year.
Yeah.
And how much it was like one of your favorite things you've had all year, and how much money you spent on pours of it this year.
I did spend a lot. I could have bought maybe two other bottles than I have. So
to me, and I mean, what Dave's saying is correct.
Yeah.
To me, King of Kentucky is just so much my profile, and even this King being a little bit off profile.
It is.
Comparable to a lot of other Kings. It's still so good. It is. And it's hard for me to get away from it. I will say, I think it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was, whenever King Kentucky won for us for Bottle of the Year then. That I felt like was so much more of a slam dunk than this one. I feel like my top three, my second and third place was really close, and my first place I knew was better than those two whenever I was sipping on them, but it was much closer than I would have thought. So it's just, at the end of the day, just King's King.
King's King.
So anyways, we talk about all of that individually. Whenever we went through and averaged our entire list, and that's all we did. We went through an average. I think we had to try to figure out generations, Maker's Mark, Seller's age.
Yeah.
Because we went and just compared the places and we just did points.
Yeah.
And then if we got stuck somewhere, we just taste them individually with each other and figure out which one we liked more.
Yeah.
But really quick, just to review, our 10th place was Barstown Bourbon Company, 9th place, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, Batch C. 8th place was William Heavenhill 17 year. 7th place, 13th Colony. 6th was Generations. 5th was Maker's Mark Seller's Age. 4th was Four Roses LE. 3rd place was Russell's Reserve Single Rick House. 2nd place was King Kentucky 16 year. And 1st place, after we averaged everything out, was Michter's 10 year. So, by the way,
So Brown Foreman is king this year.
Brown Foreman. Yeah. Brown Foreman is king. So, with all that being said, let us know in the comments below what was some of your favorites or what you think was the best.
Yeah.
And let us know kind of like how we did it. If you guys think we should do it better, or if we should do something different. We did do a best kind of like every day. We've done a best of this and a best of that. We'll have our favorite single barrels of 2003 coming out. So let us know if you guys would like something different or like a different format. And we can try it for next year.
Yep, for sure. All right, well, till next time.
We'll see you.
We'll see you.